Hey guys, my name is Giacomo Stellino, currently an active duty member of the United States Navy, second class petty officer, master at arms. And when I was in the process of joining, it really wasn't as seamless as it may seem. Maybe you guys have friends that joined and everyone's story is different, but mine had a lot to do with cutting some family ties. My family didn't necessarily agree with it, and but I had to do it for me, and it's done great things for me. But before we get into that, we'll just talk about how my experience pretty much shaped the rest of my career, and it all started pretty much on the bus heading towards the airport, and how I was alone for that part, and gave me a lot of time to think about the impending events that were about to take place, and how it was probably going to be the last time I thought of doing something just because it's for me. And I was pretty dead on about that, because then you get on the flight, you meet a bunch of people that are heading in the same direction as you, and the camaraderie starts right around there. You start to meet a bunch of people from essentially where you're from, but more than likely you'll never run into them again. Maybe you'll add them on Facebook, but other than that, there's pretty much no relationship with those people anymore. And it's so different from the bus ride getting to boot camp, because it starts off like a field trip, just with a bunch of people. Everyone's making a whole lot of noise, everybody's excited, and it quickly fades away as soon as you step off that bus, and you're put in a line, and you're quickly exposed to what military bearing is, and it's all lines. It's a lot of lines. Stand by to stand by. And yeah, it's there's a lot of working out. There's a lot of getting in trouble, a lot of getting yelled at. But I guess growing up, I had always had that, so it wasn't too big of a change for me. But I definitely remember trying to be the one person that was never seen or heard of, and in doing so, I ended up being the only person that was ever seen or heard of. And yeah, I failed in that attempt. But what basic training did is it magnified the basics of what is expected of you in the fleet, so that you never forget it. You might slack here and there, and well, I did. And you might, let's say, have a more lax lifestyle than you did in boot camp, but it's never forgotten, and you could always snap right back to it. And if you ever end up getting in trouble while you're there, you most certainly do snap right back to it. But I definitely remember my experience being one where you become a unit. You become a working, functioning part of a machine, because that's what you need to be. That's what everyone is required to be in order for the bigger machine to work, to have a successful mission day in, day out. And yeah, you fall into the lifestyle, and it's a good lifestyle. Honestly, it's a lifestyle that I still, even in my private life, I still fold my clothes the way they told me to do it in boot camp. I mean, and it works. And you learn a lot. There's a lot of growing and a lot of learning, and you learn a lot about. You learn to be more selfless in that you don't ever want to become a burden to the guy next to you, because he's not just the guy next to you or the girl next to you. They're not just co-workers. They're part of a bigger family or the bigger machine. But you're all there, and you learn to respect each other on that level. And that all starts in boot camp. So my I was first stationed at 32nd Street, Naval Base, San Diego. And as a Master at Arms, we have many different avenues that we can take. And the one that I had chosen was Harbor Security. And I loved it. I still love it to this day. I can't say anything negative about the job, what we do. And even the people that I worked with, the people that I would see more often than the woman I married and our kid at the time. I was very blessed to be able to work alongside people that I genuinely cared about for the most part, and to be mentored by those that have been there before you, and then for them to pass the torch over to you and give you that responsibility to then mentor others in what you do and how you do it. And I think more importantly than all of that is why you do it. And the importance of the job is very, very, you feel it when you're doing it. You understand that without you there, bad things would happen. And it was a great feeling to be able to be seen as a mentor as well. And I now have a lot of skills that I didn't have before I joined. I can't say I would have had them had I not joined. But I now know that depending on what I do once I am done in the United States Navy, those are skills that are going to be with me forever. And they're going to help me for as long as I need those skills. They're going to make me a better person. And that was all good. And then 3 years after I had been stationed in Manama, Bahrain, which is this little green zone. It's a little green zone in the middle of the world's worst war zone. There's 0 peaceful country surrounding this little tiny island. And everything is magnified. The efforts that you put in on a day-to-day, the sense of how you are needed. You are needed there because the danger is greater. And your sense of purpose is heightened as well. And you start to see how there are negative effects to pushing people too hard. But that's where you also see the best of people. You see the ones that can handle it, the ones that can get on to the next day, and the ones that can not only have enough mental strength and will to take care of themselves, but also to lend a hand to their fellow sailor. And I met some really great people in Bahrain. They helped me, and again, when the time came, the torch was passed for me to help others. And I definitely appreciated my experiences there as well. So the Navy experience is unlike any other. And because of that, it can offer you some skills that you would not acquire anywhere else. When you are told, hey, we just got a brand new person or people that are coming in, and we need you to get them up to speed. We need you to train them. We need you to make them understand and know the job. And that's on you. You don't know what kind of person you're dealing with. You don't know what kind of people you need to train. And it's a lot of face-to-face. It's a lot of talking. It's a lot of diagrams. And if you don't like that type of thing, you weren't forced into that type of thing. I embraced that type of thing. And that's definitely one of the skills that I took from that. And once I do eventually turn my badge in, I don't know what you would say for someone who was a sailor who just decides to continue on with their life outside the Navy, but I definitely will take that with me, and I intend on teaching. Not the same job, but the skills that I learned to grab a random person and assist them to understand something that before was so abstract to them that now is so clear. I think that's a skill that we need more of in the civilian world. And that's definitely what I intend to bring. So if there's one thing that I could say I definitely took out from the Navy and I'm going to bring with me into the civilian world once I'm done, is the skill to teach and train people. And it's funny thinking on it now, I don't do much of, thinking of that particular topic, but if you can take a random person or a group of new people and you could be requested to train these people on weapon systems, how to operate a boat, how to maintain checks, what are you as a master at arms doing on a boat, why you're doing these things. Suddenly, teaching in a classroom seems so much simpler. And it's that skill that you gain once you're in, where you're doing it at a 10, day in and day out. Then all of a sudden, when you're expected to do something that's not as extreme and not as complicated as that, you can handle that situation much more effectively and efficiently. And it's helped me understand that different people learn different ways, and I know I do. And different teachers teach different ways. Different trainers train different ways. Different coaches coach different ways. But what makes you valuable is that you don't quit on people. And that's just another aspect of what the Navy is all about. It's not giving up.